se con un po' di ritardo, ma insomma ricominciamo con altri interventi internazionali. Quello che vediamo adesso è il video di Catherine Loft dall'Australia, Melbourne, Australia. Per motivi di fuso orario non era comunque possibile fare una diretta e, come dicevo prima, in questo modo è stato possibile sottotitolare il video, quindi è seguibile da chi sa l'inglese nell'ottimo inglese di Catherine, ma anche con i sottotitoli. Ci parla dell'attività del gruppo di lettori valtortiani australiano, nato in Australia ma di fatto in tutto il mondo, diffuso in tutto il mondo di lingua inglese. Catherine è nata a Melbourne da genitori italiani, infatti lei un pochino sa anche l'italiano, ha partecipato a qualcuna delle nostre riunioni di cenacolo diffuso internazionale. Da 40 anni opera nel settore dell'educazione, insegnando inglese, lingua e letteratura, italiano, francese e religione nelle scuole secondarie cattoliche. A Catherine piace lavorare con i giovani e considera ugualmente importante il loro sviluppo accademico e spirituale. È anche editor e correttore di bozze, è un'appassionata lettrice valtortiana fin dai primi anni 90. C'è qualche cenno anche della sua storia, diciamo, come lettrice valtortiana nel video. Ed è il convenor del Maria Valtorta Readers Group, questo gruppo di apostolato online, che le è stato affidato nel 2016 dal fondatore David Murray. È una vedova con 3 figli adulti e 2 nipotini e trova particolarmente gratificante impegnarsi attivamente con la sua famiglia e interagire con i lettori di Maria Valtorta in tutto il mondo.
Hello, my name is Catherine Loft, and the topic today is evangelizing the writings of Maria Valtorta in English-speaking countries through the Maria Valtorta Readers Group, its past, present and future. First of all, I would like to thank Don Ernesto Zucchini and the Maria Valtorta Onless Foundation for giving me the opportunity to participate in this international conference. Today I wish to inform you of the role that the Maria Valtorta Readers Group has in promoting her work. To this day, this apostolate connects people in 18 English-speaking countries. Through Valtorta's work, we try to tell people how wonderful these writings are to strengthen the faith of those who are dormant and to help convert people to the Christian life. I am the convener of the Maria Valtorta Readers Group, an online apostolate whose purpose is to bring people together socially, intellectually and spiritually in the study and appreciation of Valtorta's work. Although the Maria Valtorta Readers Group has its roots in Australia, it quickly gained members worldwide from the start. For this reason, I represent a multitude of people globally who were touched by the mission to make the writings of Maria Valtorta known and loved. A brief note about the past and its origins. In 1992, the Maria Valtorta Readers Group was founded by David D. Murray. This took place in Melbourne when David was 60 years old. He should not be confused with David G. Murray, a priest who translated notebooks 1943, 44 and 45 to 50 and the Book of Azariah from Italian into English. David knew and made it clear that these writings were never meant to replace the Holy Bible, but they were given to enhance the content of the Gospel, add detail, make it visual, and therefore make it come alive. His aim was to promote Valtorta. After all, we don't read Valtorta, we experience it. The first port of call was to meet other readers. After being introduced to the work during a Marian pilgrimage, David's first aim was to reach out to other Maria Valtorta readers. So in 1995, after studying these writings for 3 years, David decided to visit Italy in order to make contact with the publisher. On his return, David used a nearby parish hall to hold a series of introductory talks and readings with interested parishioners. Then, in early 1966, David went on the road, or Valtortaling as he called it, to share his excitement and deep appreciation of Maria's work further. He was delighted to speak to 12 groups in New South Wales and Queensland, and later in other states and territories in Australia. Having recently retired, David then spent 18 years Valtortaling to various countries, promoting the writings to Canada, New Zealand, the USA, Zambia, the UK and Ireland, and the Philippines, some to which he travelled with a friend. During this time, David was never alone in his mission. He met other people who loved this work, and he slowly developed a global network. The next step was written material. As he slowly was spreading awareness of Maria Valtorta's writings, David knew that he wanted to keep this love for the work alive so that others would not feel as alone as he initially felt. So David began a 4-page newsletter, The Bulletin, which he mailed nationally and internationally. This was particularly successful because letters from readers were also included, which brought people together. David also realised that the poem of the Man God in its current, overwhelming 5-volume edition was a difficult hurdle in his attempt to invite others to read it. So he initiated a further quarterly supplement that included various passages that people could share among themselves and with others. Over time, he produced around 30 thematic booklets, 3 guides, a Maria Valtorta scriptural rosary booklet, and an extended version of the End Times book that had gone out of print. These compilations amounted to hundreds of pages and were based on thousands of hours of research and editing. With regard to the media, David didn't turn down the opportunity of being interviewed on an Australian Catholic TV program about Maria Valtorta. Audio material was recorded, but this was time-consuming. David started a few recordings of passages on cassettes. As soon as the CDs became available, David and another friend embarked on the Sunday Gospel readings of the Novus Order Mass for years A, B and C. It took 7 years for David to look up the Sunday Gospel readings, then research the Maria Valtorta equivalent throughout all of her writings, and finally he recorded them with a friend who read the canonical Gospel, while David followed with the reading of the Valtorta excerpts. The audio material was used in 2 ways. Firstly, all the transcripts were sent to Valtorta-loving priests who used them to prepare their homilies. Secondly, the transcripts and the audios later became available as a series on our website and on the free Maria Valtorta app. Overseas trips then became pilgrimages to Italy. In February 2006, David set out on a Maria Valtorta pilgrimage to Italy with Father Jorge Fuentes, a Mexican Salesian priest. In October 2011, for the 50th anniversary of Valtorta's death, David travelled alongside a small group of Australian, New Zealanders and Zambian Valtorta readers. In 2015, he organised another group to travel to Italy, but unfortunately ill health prevented him from going, although the pilgrimage still went ahead. David wanted more regular contact, so at the home of a centrally located Melbourne reader, he convened a monthly Maria Valtorta group meeting, a book club meeting. It was time to consider a website. As suggested by a reader, John Cantarella from Brisbane, Australia, a website was started in 2002 which could reach more English-speaking people worldwide in an effort to unite people and promote the work more effectively. David was also pleased that his newsletters could now be emailed overseas more readily, along with the Sunday Mass transcripts to priests. When David turned 80 in 2012, he started to think that it was time to slow down and pass the baton to someone else while he still had his faculties. In 2016, David felt confident and at peace with handing it over officially to me as convener, to Stephen Austin as our webmaster, and to Patrick G and John Cantarella as team members, to continue the work he started, especially in a time of growing technology and social media. Just a few weeks before his 90th birthday, David died, but he always hoped in his heart that he would be alive to see the canonisation of Maria Valtorta. David's mission may have ended, but our Maria Valtorta earthly mission continued. From 2016 to the present came the second generation. My own introduction to Valtorta happened in the 1990s in Melbourne, Australia, as I visited a Catholic bookshop to buy my mother a religious book in Italian for her birthday. Although she was literate in the foreign language, I wanted her to enjoy and meditate on a book in her own mother tongue, which was hard to come by in Australia at that time. The sales assistant suggested a book for my mother, but then offered me the 5-volume poem of the man God. Stunned by the sheer size and put off by the title, she gave me a booklet on the passion, death and resurrection of Jesus as a taster, which was a 64-page abridged compilation from Valtorta's work by Father Joe Marr. Needless to say, I was back there within days and bought the set. Not only was I impressed, but I stopped reading other books because I was finally satisfied and nurtured and uplifted and excited about Maria Valtorta's work. No other writing was able to come close to what I needed and desired, and this brought me into contact with David Murray. Jesus gave us this work for 7 reasons, but what was most meaningful to me was what Jesus said to Maria Valtorta. Even if a single soul, one alone, were to find the way through this effort of yours, willed by me, the exertion would be justified. This became my mission statement in every bulletin. So my aim was to continue with what David had achieved and develop it further. Gathering with other readers became important to me too. The first thing I arranged in 2016 was a 2-day Maria Valtorta conference marking the 60th anniversary of her death, which took place with people from around Australia and New Zealand. In addition, an annual Maria Valtorta Readers Group gathering took place. A gathering was also organised where people were asked to bring a friend who was not a reader as an opportunity to introduce others to the work. With the onset of the virus restrictions worldwide, book club meetings and gatherings developed into Zoom meetings, where not only people within countries could gather, but across the continents too. We became one family under the Maria Valtorta umbrella. Written material was also essential. Saint Jerome once said, "When we pray, we speak to God, but when we read, God speaks to us." So written material was very important. Maria's writings were supposed to touch hearts and bring people closer to the faith. Therefore, the 4-page quarterly supplement now became theme-based, such as marriage, purgatory, the shepherds, Our Lady's 7 Sorrows. These could now be used by readers to help them promote the work to others more easily and for free. English is my native language, but I have studied French and Italian at university level, and I have an Italian background, so these languages have been of great help in translating and proofreading articles or videos on Maria Valtorta, such as the Dr. Emilio Pisani series, which are always interesting, or videos from previous international conferences that do not have subtitles. I have also had readers ask me to cross-reference subtleties or differences in translations, so my knowledge of the 3 languages has been of help in reading the different editions. A particular favourite of mine has been to translate and or paraphrase parts of Albo Centoni's book called A Life with Maria Valtorta, Testimonies by Marta Di Giotti. Not translated into English, the readers have particularly found this information fascinating, amusing and revealing. While David had researched and prepared the Valtorta transcripts for the Novus Ordo Mass, By popular demand, I prepared the Valtorta transcripts for the Roman Rite Mass. Incidentally, this complements and is a good companion to the Book of Azariah, but still only available for priests and religious at this stage. The newsletter continues to be vital, where we read the heartfelt changes in people, or even more remarkable, a conversion from another faith to that of Catholicism, with the help of or through Maria Valtorta's writings. Social media has become the norm. So Patrick G, our team member, created a Facebook page on Maria Valtorta to cater for those readers who prefer social media to appreciate and expand their knowledge of the work. With regard to audio, although I have not created or recorded any material, I do make it my business to regularly alert the readers to any material available for their convenience, whether it be a video or an audio. The elderly in particular prefer to listen rather than to read. Regarding the website, John Cantarella, who originally created the website, passed it on to Stephen Austin in 2016. But John continues to give the stats and reports on this site so that we can continue to meet the needs of the readers, to note the number of new visitors and increase the content. We know that nowadays fewer people want the option of going to their bookshelves to read Valtorta because their lifestyle is more mobile. They want to listen to Valtorta while they are driving, read excerpts from their phones or iPads, or watch videos. And our website caters for all of these. Jesus also said to Maria, "The work gives spiritual masters and directors assistance in their ministry by studying the different souls of the world in which I lived, and by the different methods used by me to save them, because it would be foolish to have only one method with all souls." Since 2016, this website has been developed and perfected by Stephen Austin from the USA, author, apologist, advocate, and our webmaster. In the first Maria Valtorta International Conference in 2016, Stephen spoke about his intellectual content and research effort in promoting Valtorta. He noted many things, and it is worth revisiting that video on our website. The Maria Valtorta Readers Group website encompasses years of research and commitment, and it continues to be a work in progress. In short, our website caters for all: the intellectual, the academic, the theologian, the scientist, the simple-hearted, the young, the elderly, and those curious about the life and times of Jesus and Mary. The website is factual. It is not subjective, judgmental, or argumentative. It contains articles of support and refutation, free ebooks such as the Summa and Encyclopedia of Maria Valtorta's extraordinary work, and the Valtorta Enigma, in addition to videos and audios. There are many still seeking an imprimatur or a nil obstat, but Stuart Chase summed it up perfectly when he stated, "For those who believe, no proof is necessary. For those who don't believe, no proof is possible." However, readers have particularly found helpful the 9-page list of approvals collated by Stephen Austin in his Summa in their efforts of promoting the work. Reaching a younger age group in the classroom. It is interesting to note that there are very few people under 30 who are readers, even though I have come into contact with so many more people over the years. In my job as a teacher, I have been blessed with the opportunity of reaching out to 12 to 18-year-old students. I have been even more blessed in my request in being given more religion classes across the year levels. The importance comes from a quote by Dr. James Sullivan, "What you read today walks and talks with you tomorrow." I knew this applied to my students. In class, when we deal with topics that are part of the RE course, my approach has always been to consult the Holy Bible first, then the Catechism and/or tradition, and only then do I visit extended resources. You guessed it, Maria Valtorta is one of them. I share a short passage on the screen, visible to everyone, and students appreciate the detail and clarification. With the lower secondary students, 12 to 14-year-olds, we look at passages on the shepherds, Sunday as a day of rest and worship, the description of the birthplace of Jesus, and Jesus' rite of passage at 12 years old. With the middle school classes, 14 to 16-year-olds, we look at short passages on the holy name of Jesus, the shroud of Turin, the Assumption, and the conversation between Jesus and the thieves on the cross. With the seniors, 17 and 18 years old, we look at passages on the physical sufferings of Jesus during his passion, the medical explanation of Jesus sweating blood at the Garden of Olives, a term called hematidrosis, and passages about issues on the course on abortion and euthanasia. Jesus said, "Souls must react by themselves. I pass and sow the seed. The seed works in secret. A soul is to be respected in this work. If the first seed does not take root, another must be sown." This is what Jesus said, and this is what I do. I plant the seed. And I was also well aware of Jesus' words when he said, "But it is a slow process. One must not spoil everything by being hasty." So I wasn't hasty. I left the rest to God. The only thing I will say is that I'm so grateful that the students are very pleased when they discover that they are grouped in my RE classes, and so are their parents, who inform me that my students share the content of our RE classes with them. However, my most memorable moment was when a woman contacted me through my Maria Valtorta email address to say her son requested a Maria Valtorta book for his birthday. Unbeknown to both of us, and much to our surprise, her son was in my senior RE class. The youth of today are hungry for the faith, and how fortunate to be able to reach them in numbers. Unity worldwide. One thing I came across repeatedly is Jesus saying he wanted unity worldwide. I was already taking steps to unify the Maria Valtorta readers group around the world, but also those from non-English speaking countries, because our mission was the same. Jesus stated that you are like one family, and when does a family thrive and when does the world admire it? When its members are united and of the same mind. One way this was done was through the quarterly bulletin, where I would occasionally include an article from the Foundation in Italy, notification of overseas retreats in Italy, or events being held in France. We have also created a regular column in our bulletin with the creation of a reflection with Father Ernesto Zucchini, and also publications made available from the CEV Press. Not only do we promote our books, booklets, guides and audios worldwide, but also the audio of The Gospel is Revealed to Me and Notebooks 1943, read beautifully by a non-denominational Christian minister, Father Peter Bowes, and the more recent Maria Valtorta Heritage Foundation title, The Little Notebooks, recently translated and published for the first time. We also refer readers to material from other Valtorta websites and include a link. We do not replicate their content, but bring it to the attention of others, because Jesus also said, "Go and spread the word. Go with discernment and care. Do not apply it to all in the same way." Jesus draws on an analogy of an army of ants and then ends with, "They are ants, nothing but ants, and yet they are strong because they are united." Meditate on that. In the future, the Maria Valtorta Readers Group will continue to keep a social, religious and intellectual connection through the various methods already mentioned, so that we can continue to be enlightened and nurtured and instrumental in keeping that ripple effect in motion. However, we will continue to be guided on how to evangelise through Maria Valtorta's writings. So what does Jesus advise? If we feel inadequate, let us refer to Jesus' conversation with Judas Iscariot. "Why are you sighing, Judas?" asks Jesus. "I am sighing because I wish our people would seek the truth. Instead, they evade it or sneer at it or remain indifferent. I feel discouraged." Jesus replies, "And do you think that I am very successful? Do not be discouraged, Judas. It is a struggle of the apostolate, and there are more defeats than victories." If we feel discouraged with an apparent lack of success, Jesus says to Judas, as he says to us, "Judas, Judas, a woman to bear a child to the world carries it for 9 lunations. Do you want to be quicker in giving the world the knowledge of God? Not 9, but thousands of lunations will be required. Cheer up. Do not be easily roused in triumph or easily depressed in defeat." So many readers struggle to get their family members and Christian friends to read the writings. Maria's guardian angel, Azariah, advises us to be missionaries to all, both inside and outside the fold. Let your actions be missionary works for the Gentiles, who, under different names, live together with you in your cities and sometimes in your very families. Let each of you be content with his spiritual destiny. Whoever has, he can give. Whoever does not have, he can receive. A great deal, a little, it doesn't matter. It is enough for it to be what you are able to give. Love, therefore, and you will do everything well towards God, towards the church, towards your neighbour who is closest to you, belonging to the one true church, towards a neighbour who is further away, being outside the fold, towards a sinner, to bring him back to salvation. Our Lady tells John the Apostle, "How many wrecks, how many men who are stained, corroded, worn out will you find as evangelizers? Do not despise any of them. On the contrary, love them. Infuse love into them." David Murray and many of our Readers Group members who had died had hoped to live to see the earthly canonisation of Maria Valtorta in their lifetime, as do many of the readers worldwide who want to promote the work for this purpose. Of course, it would make our evangelisation and promotion of the work so much easier, but in the meantime, the Maria Valtorta Readers Group worldwide will continue to promote the work and keep the words of Pope Pius XII in our hearts. Whoever reads it will understand. Thank you for listening.
Questo era il contributo di Catherine, che ringraziamo a distanza. Porterò i saluti e i ringraziamenti per email, ci scriviamo abbastanza regolarmente.